Hi everyone, and welcome to today's episode, which is on the 15th of the 12th 2017. And it's a sad day for the internet because net neutrality yesterday has been repealed, so it means there's going to be a slow transition into having the ISPs in control, which means they can throttle your bandwidth, they can stop you from doing what you want unless you pay the extra money for it. There's a lot of things they can do. They won't roll it out straight away, but yeah, it's not looking good. So before we delve into that a bit deeper, let's see what the news is saying. So let's go. Okay, so the parity check. Okay, social media is a clumsy term. Okay, forget that, ignore that. With just one day left into open enrollment, companies turn to Stride Health for help. I'm not sure what that's about. Okay. Okay, what telecoms and tech companies are saying about the FCC's net neutrality decision? This would be interesting to read. So let's just go to the source. The FCC just voted to eliminate the net neutrality rules established by 2015's Open Internet Order. The blowback has been predictably sudden from many prominent internet companies that are decrying the Commission's decision. Just as pronounced, however, has just been the support from prominent telecoms that expressed enthusiasm for the FCC's vote. Today's what? Here's what has been said so far. We're still waiting to hear from others, and we'll update this as... Okay, that's fine. They're going to update this list. Where's this list? Okay, that's just a comment stream there. Let's just go there. Okay, I thought there'd be quotes from a lot of internet companies, but doesn't seem to be. I watched the actual clip of the actual hearing, and it was quite interesting because this lady here, I don't know her name unfortunately, she really hit the nail on the head. And let's see, what is her name? I wonder if I can play it. Is there a new video for this? I don't know who would... Okay, let's go to... Actually, it might be on the BBC website. No, that's more of the Brexit news. Net neutrality. Looks like we don't care about it over here. That's not right. Let's go to... Well, it's definitely not going to be in there. So let's go to world. Let's go to US and Canada. Open this in a new window. Right, there's nothing here. Oh, what's this? Let's see.
Does this bother you?
Right, so just gonna stop that. Actually, this is quite informative, so we'll keep it going. Hopefully I won't get a copyright strike for this. Okay, I think we'll leave that there. But you get what's happening. So let's just go back to the parity check, see what we have here. Apple launches its podcast analytics service into beta. Okay. Is it me or is it just the same information as yesterday? Okay, this is cool. Apple Maps gets indoor mapping for more than 30 airports. I don't know if Google does this or not, but it would be interesting to see, because I do find it kind of difficult to navigate some airports, and I do travel a lot, and I do find it quite frustrating. Okay. Ooh, Chromecast is back on Amazon. Now this is good news. Amazon will once again allow sales of Apple TV and Google Chromecast on its site after banning them 2 years ago in an effort to promote its own Fire TV hardware to online shoppers. The addition of Apple TV is not surprising. Amazon and Apple came to an agreement earlier this year that included the launch of Amazon Prime Video app for Apple TV and the return of Apple TV to Amazon's online store. However, the return of Chromecast is notable given the recent drama between the two companies, which led to Google pulling YouTube from Echo Show and Fire TV. Okay, so does that mean the software is now available to download the Amazon Prime app? Because I get Amazon Prime Video, and unfortunately I can't use Chromecast to cast it onto my TV. Okay, so this is good news, I guess. I might have to send them an email to say to find out if the app for Amazon Video will actually work on the Chromecast now. There might be an update somewhere. Okay, so let's go back again. Don't care about that. Okay. Right, I'm just gonna test my speaker because something crazy is just happening with it. There we go. No, that's not gonna work. Interesting. See what page 3 has to say. I'm just skimming all of these and not actually reading them out loud, so if there's anything you do want to read out or want me to read out and talk about, the Twitter address or Twitter handle is I am parity check, and I'll be able to answer anything that you want. A new version of Mixer, Microsoft's Twitch rival, hits iOS and Android. Okay, I have actually signed up to this, but I haven't used it yet. Not sure how good it is. I know Twitch is a bit weird to use, and I have tried using it. But what I've currently done is just uploaded video that was pre-recorded. Alright, we can forget that. Let's go back to the news. EU leaders set to move Brexit to next stage. Yes, because they want you out. Ooh, that's not good. This is definitely not good. Parents give children alcohol too young. Okay. Alright guys, somebody just asked which mug am I using today, and I'm using this lovely mug. And let's see, got Captain America on there, the Hulk, Spider-Man, and Wolverine, and we might be talking about that later as well. Okay, so there's a lot happening in the news, but it's all pants, or it's all stuff from yesterday and the day before and the day before, slightly repackaged with a bit more information. So yeah. Right, let's see what's happening in England. Man missing for 13 years. Seen begging. Okay. So why is he begging? Is it him? Are there any recent pictures? No, probably not. So who saw him? Maybe he doesn't want to be found. Leave him alone. Oh, okay, so his wife had to move on. 2005? Okay, so he's in Ghana. The man was looking for his family. Ooh, okay, so maybe he's got amnesia. It's not good news. Killer lorry driver was watching porn. Elephant porn. What? A lorry driver who killed a man when he ploughed into his vehicle while watching pornography on his phone had been jailed for 8 years. Wow. On the M69 last May. On the M69 as well. Can you believe that? Crushing him against the safety barrier. Ouch. The 57-year-old had looked up porn star Candy Love 4 minutes before the crash and was seen trying to throw his phone away afterwards. He denied causing death by dangerous driving at Leicester Crown Court. Oh my gosh. Dirty, dirty boy. This is not nice. Not nice at all. Night overground services launched. All night services will run on Fridays and Saturdays between Dalston Junction and New Cross Gate. The launch extends their existing night tube services, which have seen more than 9 million journeys and helped cut evening journey times. Okay, well, that's good. Personally, I don't see why trains don't run morning, noon and night on a 24-hour basis. You know, people do need to get places, and it should be countrywide, not just in London. So let's see what is this line? Is it this red one here? I can't read this very well. The Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, said it's absolutely fantastic that we have got the night overground up and running in East London, building on the huge success of the night tube. That is really good, but it's stuff that affects London mainly, so let's move on and see if we can find anything else for the rest of the UK. Virgin train staff hold 24-hour strike. Why? Why are you doing this? Rail, Maritime and Transport Union and Transport Salaried Staffs Association members on Virgin Trains West Coast will strike over pay and staffing. Okay. Virgin said it had offered a significantly above inflation pay rise, but unions rejected it. Most Virgin West Coast services will still run, but Chester and North Wales will not be served for most of the day. Okay, so is this for today? Must be for today. Further strikes are planned on Virgin West Coast services on the 22nd of December and throughout January. Okay, well that's going to be good for everyone going back to work, isn't it? How much does a rail worker actually make? So who is it mainly? The drivers and the train drivers? It doesn't say, does it? Rail strikes, what you need to know. Let's see. Nobody ever talks about the specifics, like how much they actually get paid. Let's go to UK. No, what's it called? It's called Glassdoor, isn't it? Location London. Job title, let's see. Train driver. Train drivers. Qualified train driver, okay. Go away. Their salary is £46,000 a year. That is mental. That's more than most doctors, GPs. That's mental. So they want a 4% increase year on year. Shall we see how much that works out to be? I'm just gonna cheat here. So 46,000. What is 4% of 46? Let's just round it off to what was it? 46,500. 500. Calculate. That's £1,860. That is crazy. So the average mortgage in the UK is around 500 to £650 per month. Rent is between 550 to 750 outside of London for like a standard 3-bedroom house. So you can easily chop this figure away and still be left with quite a lot of money at the end of the month. Not saying you shouldn't deserve it, because it's probably a very, very tiring job and it's long hours. Interesting. Maybe I should have gone to train driver learning academy. Maybe I need a union job. I think that's what it is. If you have a union job, I guess you can strike. Man, okay, let's move on. So, man tipped from wheelchair by thieves. Holy cow. So it looks like this guy was doing some drone photography or videography. Yeah, Stephen Hasley, 30, a photography student from Hoylake, was taking pictures in Ashton Park, Merseyside at 12:30 on Tuesday when he was approached by 2 unknown men. They stole his camera and other equipment before running off. It has been described as a despicable crime by police. Mr. Hasley said it has made him think twice about going out on his own. Even if you went out in a group, it was, if those people would be determined to rob you, especially when you've got nice, lovely equipment like that. So I'd probably say, yeah, go out in a group, but even then, take all the precautions you can. The offenders are described as white, aged between 30 and 40, with one wearing a black coat and the other wearing a blue coat. That really narrows it down, doesn't it? That's really bad. So, where did it say he was tipped over? Okay, just here then. So, a man who was tipped out of his wheelchair by thieves who stole his photography kit. Okay, so the attackers knocked his confidence. This photo credit is to Stephen Hasley himself. So he took his own photo for the BBC's news report. That's really, really cool. Hopefully he gets his stuff back. Okay, so Barrowman Panto, too smutty for kids. That's not good. I like John Barrowman. I think he's quite a good import from the States. He's quite entertaining, and so are the Crankies, as I know full well from growing up watching them on TV. And I've always wanted to go to a pantomime. Maybe not Dick Whittington. But yeah, a mum has called for a lewd and offensive pantomime starring the Crankies and former Doctor Who star John Barrowman to be axed. Natalie Wood has made an official complaint about Dick Whittington at Manchester Opera House, saying it was too smutty for children. I just read the next paragraph. During the show, she said Barrowman fondled co-star Jeanette Cranky's bits and also invited audience members to chant Alice loves okay. The venue said no offense was intended. Okay, so I guess they're a bit dodgy. Definitely this you don't want to be doing in front of kids. And this is a bit dodgy as well. So I don't know, it's you are going there for a bit of cheeky, cheesy fun time, but it is kind of bad, to be fair. Now that I'm like taking it in, it's actually quite bad. So what has John Barrowman said about this? Let's see, next one. Man guilty of panto sex assault attempt. Oh my god. So maybe not go to a pantomime then this year. A convicted sex offender has been found guilty of attempting to sexually assault. Oh my god, I don't want to read this. This is horrible. What the hell? What makes these people want to do this kind of stuff? Bus driver admits hitting pedestrian. Finally, a bus driver that actually admits fault. Oh, it's that guy. I don't know if anyone's ever seen this footage, but this guy's walking down the street. This bus swings past, and the guy miraculously... Okay, BBC, carry on. Poof. But miraculously, the guy gets up and walks into a shop or wherever he's going into. So hopefully he's going to get charged. Okay, so there's that. Let's go to world news. We just want to see what net neutrality information. Okay, so before we go into the net neutrality information. Oh crap. Did you just see that? Okay, so before we speak about that, let's talk about Walt Disney buying 20th Century Fox for $52 billion. Wow. When they bought Marvel, I thought, yeah, $4 billion, that's not bad, considering what they get for it. And they've pretty much started making all that money back. The same with the Star Wars franchise. They've done that. They've brought that back, and they're making money from it. But how are they going to recoup 52 billion? I bet they have enough money for 52 billion, like in spare change. Okay, so let's get into this. So Walt Disney has agreed to buy the bulk of 21st Century Fox's business for 52.4 billion in UK pounds. That's 39 billion pounds. In a deal both companies said position them to compete in the rapidly changing media industry. Yes, it does. But I think it's more weighted to Disney because they get the X-Men back, and they get the Fantastic Four back for Marvel Studios, and no doubt they will be using them in upcoming Marvel Cinematic Universe movies and TV shows. But they actually get quite a lot more. So the purchase includes Fox's film and television studios, as well as its 39% stake in satellite broadcaster Sky. And what they don't say in this is they also get the online streaming service Hulu shares as well, which is going to be really interesting because Disney originally wanted to create their own online streaming platform. But why not just buy a platform that's already running and that already has content on it? You don't need to reinvent the wheel. But it includes the movie and TV studios. That's big because that also includes their back catalogue of movies and TV shows. So, excuse me. I'm still under the weather, so apologies for that. Fox will form a news-focused company with its remaining assets. Okay, so they're not buying the news brand at all, which is good, because the Fox News brand is always ridiculed on TV. The move is a sharp shift for 86-year-old Fox owner Rupert Murdoch after more than half a century of media expansion. To be fair to Rupert Murdoch, he's done quite a bit in his lifetime, considering he started off on a newspaper in Australia, which this article actually just does go into. Mr. Murdoch turned a single Australian newspaper he inherited from his father at the age of 21 into one of the world's largest news and film empires. He said that the breakup makes sense amid new threats from online advertising and competitors who are streaming entertainment into homes via the internet. Fox shareholders, who include the Murdochs, will get a 25% stake in the larger Disney. Ooh, 25%. With today's announcement, we launch the next great leg of our journey, Rupert Murdoch said on Thursday in a call for investors. He added later, "Are we retreating? Absolutely not." Alright, so this is what Disney is buying. Disney will scoop up Fox movie and television studios, regional sports network, and international holdings, amongst other investments. The move adds to Disney's back catalogue high-grossing films such as the original Star Wars movies, the Marvel superhero pictures, Avatar and Deadpool, as well as TV hits such as Modern Family and The Simpsons. Why doesn't anyone say the X-Men? Daredevil is part of the X-Men, and because the Deadpool movie was like the highest grossing R-rated movie ever, they classify that as a really big franchise when it's only ever had the one movie. Some of this information is quite ill-informed from what I can see. It's just headlining bits and pieces of information. Okay, Avatar is quite big. But the more interesting bit is the Marvel superhero pictures and Star Wars movies. Okay. Not only that, the Planet of the Apes movies are made at Fox. So, you know, there's that to consider as well. I'm not sure if the Alien movies are. Are they? I don't know. I'll have to look that up. It expands Disney's offerings with the FX and National Geographic cable channels and Fox's regional sports network in the US. The purchase also extends Disney's global reach, adding media company Star India and Fox's interests in Sky plc and Tata Sky to its portfolio. Disney will also get majority control of the video streaming service Hulu, which is also partially owned by Comcast and Time Warner. Okay. Disney will assume $13.7 billion in Fox debt as part of the stock deal, taking the total value of the transaction to more than $66 billion. What? So Fox was in debt $13.7 billion and they're still going and nobody's chasing them for money. What? I don't understand that. How does that work? Alright, so let's just continue. Why does Disney want them? Disney already owns a vast array of news, film and leisure companies. They own a news company. But the media landscape is changing as technology companies like Amazon and Netflix attract customers to new ways of viewing. Disney is investing heavily in online streaming platforms as a way to counter a downturn in its pay TV business and threats from these new rivals. So does this make Disney the most expensive media company or the most profitable media company? I don't know. Let's see how this is broken down then. The Walt Disney Company, total assets $95.79 billion. And that is split up into corporate, which is 4.9 billion, investment, which is 3.2 billion. Okay, so consumer products 9 billion, which includes ESPN Books, Maker Studios, Marvel Press, StarWars.com, the Muppet Studio. They own the Muppet Studio. Interesting. So does that mean they own Sesame Street? Okay, so Disney Media Networks, $32.5 billion. Okay, so this is the largest chunk then, isn't it? It owns ABC Entertainment, ABC News and Radio, A&E Cable Channel, ESPN, Hulu, Marvel Entertainment, Vice, 10% ownership, Viceland, Parks and Resorts are 29.5 billion, Disneyland Inc., Disneyland Paris, Disney World Resorts, Walt Disney Studios 16.3 billion, DreamWorks 2, just as a distribution company. Lucasfilm, Marvel, and Pixar. Okay. That's a lot. The firm believes this deal will give it the scale to compete and expects to wring at least $2 billion in cost savings out of the new company to boot. Okay, well, they've got a good track record, so I'm sure they'll be able to do something. So what is Fox keeping? Fox is creating a smaller firm focused on news and major live sports events in the US. It will hold on to flagship Fox News Channel, Fox Business Network, Fox Broadcasting Company, Fox Sports, Fox Television Stations Group, and Sports Cable Network, FS1, FS2, Fox, okay, and the Big Ten Network. So do you reckon the company will still be called Fox, or it will be like a slightly different version of Fox with slightly different branding, or? Interesting. Well, these are the Murdochs. They've done well for themselves, haven't they? Yeah, so The Simpsons will become part of Disney's catalogue. That's interesting. I can definitely see Mickey Mouse saying "Eat my shorts" very, very soon. Okay, so what's Niki Airline failure strands passengers? Is this Niki Lauda's airline? Yeah, it is. The Austrian airline Niki has grounded its planes, stranding thousands of passengers after filing for insolvency protection. Oh my gosh. The company has about 20 planes serving resorts in southern Europe and North Africa. It was founded by Niki Lauda, the Austrian ex-F1 racing champion, but he sold it to Air Berlin in 2011. Okay. He sold it in 2011 so he can go jet setting around the F1 paddock. Okay, so let's close that one, see what else is going on. What's going on? Let's talk about net neutrality. Oh, it's this same post. Restrictions on US broadband providers' ability to prioritize one service's data over another are to be reduced after a vote by a regulator. The Federal Communications Commission voted 3-2 to change the way net neutrality is governed. The internet service providers will now be allowed to speed up or slow down different companies' data and charge consumers according to the services they access, but they must disclose such practices. Yes, like they're going to give a damn. Ahead of the vote, protesters rallied outside the FCC's building to oppose the change. Many argue the reversal of rules introduced under President Barack Obama will make the internet less open and accessible. The decision is already facing legal challenges, with New York's Attorney General Eric pronounce that, Schneiderman, announcing he will lead a lawsuit changing the FCC's decision. Good luck to you, mate, but I think Ajit Pai has been paid a lot of money to push this through. Mr. Schneiderman accused the watchdog of failing to investigate possible abuse of the public commenting process. He said, excuse me, he said as many as 2 million identities, some of dead New Yorkers, were used to post comments to the FCC website. During the hearing, FCC Commissioner Michael O'Reilly hit back at those claims, saying staff had been able to determine and discard comments that were illegitimate. Okay. See how they are pushing the information into a different direction, so people are talking about that instead of what's actually going on. Thursday's proceedings in Washington were halted for about 15 minutes after a security alert forced an evacuation of the FCC's chamber, the final twist in a bitter and at times vitriolic debate. Okay. The FCC's chairman, Ajit Pai, argues the changes will foster innovation and encourage ISPs to invest in faster connections for people living in rural areas. He refers to the change as restoring internet freedom. Technically, the vote was to reclassify broadband internet as an information service rather than telecommunications. The consequence of this is that the FCC will no longer directly regulate ISPs. So who will regulate them? Instead, jurisdiction will pass to another regulator, the Federal Trade Commission. Its key responsibility would be to check that the companies disclose if they block data, throttle it, or offer to prioritize traffic rather than stopping such behavior. One criticism of this is that US consumers have few, if any, ISPs to choose between. Moreover, opponents of the change claim it could take years to address any misbehavior. Okay, so it's done. It's dusted. There is an appeal process. There's also other things that can happen in between. But it's actually happened, so there's no turning back now as far as I'm concerned. And I don't know if anyone will actually oppose the change. Right, so let's talk about not Star Wars, please. Let's talk about something else. I might not watch it this weekend, as the wife doesn't want to go watch it. So that's going to be quite bad for me in terms of waiting until it comes out on DVD. Let's see what else we have in the latest news then. It's just the same old stuff. Leaked renders show what could be the Samsung Galaxy S9's final design. The best cheap laptop deals for Christmas 2017. Prices start at just £180. Let's look at this. Okay, so cheap laptops of the week. A 14-inch That's not. That's £379. Nope. Let's look at the cheaper one. Why didn't they put the cheapest one right at the top? 219. Let's view this deal. Open a new tab. £79. Open this in a new tab. Open this in a new tab. Open this one in a new tab. Okay, so let's close that. So we have a HP 14-inch AMD A4 4GB 1TB black laptop. That all sounds really good. I'm not sure about the A4 processor though. I'm not sure how good it is, but for a lightweight laptop that I can take on a plane with me, this is pretty good. So look at this: 2 USB ports, HDMI, full size Ethernet port, external VGA, assume is the power. What's on the other side? Laptop Kensington lock, another USB port, SD card slot. That's perfect, and it's 1TB. I just wonder how the performance is going to be like. Let's just show more. Screen resolution is only 1366 by 768, but that's not too bad. Up to 10 hours battery time. Yes, that is good. That is very good. It's a dual core processor. It's the APU, that's why. So you won't be able to game on it, not properly anyway. So let's see what CPU benchmark has for me on this. Clock speeds 2.2 gigahertz. Turbo, you can push it to 2.5. Number of cores 2. Yeah, that's fine. How does it... Oh! It doesn't even touch an i5. So what's directly below it? We need to know what's directly below it. When did it come out? Let's just find out when it came out. Okay, Q2 2017. So it's a recent budget processor. Let's compare it with what we're comparing it to. Let's compare it to this lovely processor. What have I done? No, hardware test. I've never actually used this site before. That's weird, isn't it? I've been to the site before. I've never used it though. How does this work? Okay, well, what we want to do is see if we can compare it to another PC processor. Okay. There really isn't a way to type in my CPU. Okay, forget that then. I can't really compare anything, which is annoying. That didn't work out very well, did it? Let's just do this then. Versus Q6600. That's not the same processor. Okay, let's just do this then. Oh, there it is. There you go. Let's compare these two bad boys. Okay, so socket type BGA, whereas the Intel Core 2 is LGA 775. This is a laptop CPU, this is a desktop CPU. Okay. Surprisingly, the Intel says it's not supported for turbo speed. It might not be, but I can actually push it. It's from 2008, which it is. This one's from 2007. So this has a better CPU mark, obviously. So there'd be no point in me getting this laptop, because I'll get a substandard I'll get substandard performance out of it. So we can say goodbye to this. If I just needed something to, like something lightweight to take around with me, I think that would be great. But I think just for the battery life I'd probably consider it. But if it was like £150, maybe I would go for it for definite. But it's going to feel cheap, obviously. Might not last that long, and I personally don't actually think HP laptops are any good. So we'll go to Asus. So this is the, oh, it's a Chromebook. Okay, so I have been looking at Chromebooks, but I don't like the internal size that they've got, because I want to be able to like store pictures, store video, and all sorts of things. I know I can't do much video editing, but I'll need something that can handle stuff like that. For general web browsing, I think it's fine. A lot of my stuff now, excuse me, is mainly done online, so I have control panels for pretty much everything that I need to do online, so I don't really need to run Dreamweaver anymore. I do need to use a Photoshop and what have you, but apart from that I don't really need to use anything else. Yeah, well, that's a good price, but the battery life is good, but the RAM, I know with some of these you can't actually upgrade the RAM at all. What are we gonna do? Let's see. There you go. So you get free Google Drive for 2 years. That's interesting. I don't want everything in the cloud. Interesting. Alright, so we could possibly think about this one. Full HD laptop. What's this? This is an unbranded laptop. It must be unbranded. It's a Fusion laptop. Okay, so this is an Intel X5 processor, 64-bit quad-core processor with 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigabyte of storage, and it runs Windows 10. So this is interesting, and it's full HD. This is going to be really heavily underpowered. It's a 1.92 gigahertz processor. Alright, let's see how this performs then. Add that to the compare. Okay, so the only thing it wins is a CPU price mark, which is 62. Interesting. So it's good value. Let's compare all three. Can you do that? Yeah, you can do that. That's interesting. Okay. And close that. I think I would have to actually check this one out. Just looks like a remodded version of an Asus machine. Let's close that. So what's this? This is some weird brand. 12 times 64. Or is that what it's called? That's a model number. Okay, 12.5 inch laptop. Well, tablet laptop. That's gonna be, no, that's too much for a laptop. Slash tablet. It's got the same processor as the last machine we looked at. Okay, so we can forget that. Alright, so that's it for today. Really isn't that much good news going around, but let's see what's in my mailbag. Ugh. So this must be the replacement motherboard for the Ryzen 5 build that I did. So it is. Ta-da! Beautiful. Cool. I'll be giving that to my friend's brother, and we'll be swapping the board out. Okay, so thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. No, I won't. It's Friday. It's Saturday tomorrow, so I'll see you on Monday.